Hello seekers, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you to all my new subscribers and to those of you who have taken the time and energy today to listen to this reading. Today we're going to be looking at the night shadows. What worries keep you awake at night when everything is still and dark? Remember that this is a timeless reading. It will find you when you are meant to hear it. It is also a general reading, and therefore not everything may resonate with you. Just take that which talks to your soul and let the rest go. As always, I have 4 piles. I have earth, air, fire, and water. Just trying to kill the smoke from the smudging wood. Back to the piles. I have earth, air, fire, and water. The earth pile has the beautiful amethyst. There's your little amethyst point. I think you can see it. And the card, the oracle card that is going to draw you in is called Dragon's Hoard, Protecting the Future. And the air pile has this beautiful stone, Dumortierite, beautiful blue. And the card, the oracle card that is going to draw you in is Lost Compass, Getting Back to Integrity. And the fire pile is the beautiful peach selenite with the cosmic womb, the divine feminine. And the final pile is the water pile with the beautiful orbicular jasper, orbicular ocean jasper, which is also more commonly known as the Atlantis stone. And the card that will draw you in is called Root Girl, the Disowned Self. Let's see if you can see that beyond the light. There you are. The Root Girl, the Disowned Self. So, I will give you a moment to pick your pile. Earth with amethyst and protecting the future. Air with Dumortierite and getting back to integrity. Fire with peach selenite and the divine feminine. And water with Atlantis stone and the disowned self. Be still for a moment. Look at the piles and then see the timestamps below. There's also a disclaimer, because this reading is, of course, for entertainment only. It is a tarot reading for your entertainment and enjoyment. Pick your pile. Earth with amethyst, air with Dumortierite, fire with peach selenite, and water with Atlantis stone. Hello Earth Pile, and welcome to your reading. You chose the beautiful amethyst, the amethyst point, and there it is. Amethyst, of course, helps with calming one's mind when one is in insomniac, and it also protects against recurring nightmares. And you chose the oracle card that drew you in was called the Dragon's Hoard, Protecting the Future. Because today's reading is all about looking at your night shadows, looking at those worries that keep you awake in the middle of the night, I'm going to do something slightly differently. We're going to look at the Aborigine shadow cards, and then we're going to draw an Aborigine light card. We're going to see that message. And there you are. Yours has already come out. This is the shadow card. Suffering. Thinking that no one knows the pain you're enduring is a misunderstanding. Every soul experiences pain. It's what we do with that pain that defines our future. So let's put that there for the moment. So that is the shadow side of the reading. Let us now look at the dreaming. This is the nightmare, suffering. This is the dream. So spirit guides for earth, one card. There, well, oh, you actually got 3. It's too many. One card, please. Thank you. Success. You are worthy of success. Allow feelings of accomplishment to fill you with contentment and self-satisfaction in your achievement. So, the dark side of your nightmares is suffering, feeling that you're the only one that suffers. And part of the journey, part of moving away from these nighttime shadows is learning to understand and accept that everybody experiences pain. It's what we do with that pain that defines our future and takes us into the light and into the dreams, which is success. You are worthy of this success. Allow these feelings of accomplishment to fill you with contentment. So let's look at your cards, your proper cards. I'm going to put so that's the shadow and that's the success. Let's see if you can see them. Okay, there you are. To remind us that we're going to move earth power as we look at what keeps you awake at night, what worries bother your mind. We're going to know that we're going to move from suffering through to success. So your first oracle card was the Dragon's Hoard. Let's keep that there. Your next oracle card, this is wisdom from the ancient realms. It is the Lady of the Mirror. It's all about non-judgment and reflection, and we'll look at it in detail when we put all the cards of your reading together. And of course then the Priestess of the Light is your final oracle card, and it's as beautiful a card as your success card, Miracles, and the subtitle is Ancient Wisdom. So we will look at those when we look at your whole reading put together. So your tarot cards, your first tarot card, I'm using the Book of Shadows, so below deck. The first card is Justice. It's a major arcana card. It's a rather unusual depiction of justice. Second card is the beautiful Ace of Chalices or Ace of Cups. Your third card is the Ten of Swords. This is probably one of the nicest depictions of the Ten of Swords that I've seen. It's rather than showing the moment of defeat and ruin, it shows the moment beyond that when one has the opportunity to rise like a phoenix. Now, isn't that interesting? Because these two cards already, before we've even finished looking at all your cards, the Suffering card and the Ten of Swords in the traditional traditional deck is very much a card of suffering. It's ruin, it's betrayal, it's at the absolute end of one's tether. It is when one is totally defeated. And yet there is still a fraction of life left in that figure lying with all the 10 swords in his back. And this card shows rising like a phoenix. And your Aboriginal shadow card was all about saying that it's not the suffering that's important, it's what we do with the suffering. And that, of course, is a great way to approach a Ten of Swords situation where one is feeling utterly betrayed and exhausted. Let's continue with your tarot cards. I got a bit sidetracked there. It was just so exciting to see the link between those two cards. Your next card is the Four of Pentacles. This is in the position of your worries and your fears and your challenges. This is a very interesting deck, very different to the traditional decks that I'm used to working with. Anyway, we'll see how the reading goes. And your next card is another major arcana, Temperance. And again, this is a unusual depiction because temperance is all about moderation. It's about finding balance. And yet this couple, there's no balance or moderation in the feast that they have laid out before them. And here we have a fear of lack. Interesting. I think this is going to be an interesting reading. We're going to definitely find what is keeping you awake at night. It may be this protecting the future, and this Four of Pentacles and the Temperance being so intemperate in a way. I'm almost getting the feeling here that there's some kind of imbalance here in perhaps material goods. Perhaps there's a fear of having enough. This is a fear of actual physical poverty. Maybe something happened to ruin your financial security. And yeah, maybe that's not for all of you, but for some of you, there's a definite feel here that the worries that keep you awake at night are just plain old ordinary financial worries because of some big loss, perhaps through a betrayal, some kind of financial ruin in the past. Perhaps the COVID, I know that the COVID pandemic throughout the world has brought such poverty and suffering to so many people. Your final card is the Four of Swords. Okay, also interesting. And you've got the Four of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. Fours, of course, are numbers of stability. It's what brings stability into your life. And your final oracle card, oh, we've looked at that. That's the miracles. So that we'll bring in at the end once we've put all of these cards together. So looking at what keeps you awake at night, Earth Pal. Definitely, as I said, this card here suggests that there's something that you don't feel was fair. Because the card of justice is all about seeking justice for both yourself and for others. And perhaps the biggest worry, the Dragon's Hoard card, protecting for the future. This is about the fact that whatever treasures we seek, whether they're material treasures or spiritual treasures, most of the time it's not for us. We seek a legacy to leave, whether it's for our children or for, a service to humanity or something. But the dragon protects two types of treasures. It protects the treasures of wisdom, spiritual growth, and it also protects the treasures, the physical treasures of jewels and money. And it is up to the person who approaches the dragon's threshold which treasure they want, and they have to just reach out and touch it and embrace it, and obviously face the dragon of their fears for them to reach the treasure. But the dragon protects not so much for the supplicant or for the adventurer, but it is for future generations. And this, I think, this is where a lot of your mental suffering in the nighttime, a lot of the shadows that keep you awake at night is, I think, to do with the fact, if there has been this, and the cards definitely suggested that there has been this almost financial ruin, that perhaps on some level was very unfair. It could be anything. It could be an inheritance that was unfair, that perhaps the inheritance wasn't fairly divided between siblings. One sibling got more, or perhaps it was in a job that there was a loss of income and it shouldn't have been because somebody else was perhaps not doing as well as you were, and yet you were the one that were let go, perhaps during the COVID times or because the business had to close. And this has created a very, very real fear. The Four of Pentacles in the traditional deck is the deck of a mean little spirited person clinging to the pentacles, and pentacles are material wealth. And here, this is a very different Four of Pentacles. In this lady, you can see she is really struggling to wonder how she's going to make her goods, her possessions last. And it's interesting that it's a food cupboard, but what she's not seeing is she's not seeing the little magical gnomes that are actually replenishing the food for her. So her biggest fears are that she's going to not have enough, and yet she's not seeing the miracles that are being worked behind the scenes. And this is what's hidden. This is what's hidden in the situation. The Ace of Chalices, or the Ace of Cups. And this is, on one level, this is about a new beginning. It's about learning to go with the flow. It's just letting the cup fill up on its own and overflow on its own, and not actively seeking the abundance. It's about trusting that behind the scenes, the little miracle workers are, making plans. The universe is making plans. This is perhaps a moment, this was a moment of complete destruction of dreams. It is something that really keeps you awake at night. There's this feeling of suffering, but there is the opportunity to rise like the phoenix. How often do you hear of stories when someone has lost their job, they have then gone on their own and they've made an absolute fortune, and their legacy has been protected. They have created a legacy beyond their wildest dreams. And of course, we mustn't forget that the Aboriginal dreaming card was success, and the final oracle card from the Priestess of Light was miracles, and understanding that miracles do happen. This Lady of the Mirror, this card from the ancient realms, the ancient hidden realms, is all about reflection and non-judgment. And this, I would think, the feeling here is that what is perhaps prohibiting the rising from the ashes, the rising from the fire, renewed and golden and with a new vision, is perhaps a feeling, this feeling of suffering, this feeling of injustice. And the Lady of the Mirror is saying, you need to look at things from a different angle. You need to reflect on what has happened. You need to look at the situation in a non-judgmental way. And that, of course, applies to yourself as well, because it doesn't help judging yourself and saying, oh, if I had only done this or if I had done that. Sometimes things are beyond your control, and they happen because they are meant to bring in new wisdom, to add on to it. Not so much new wisdom, but it awakens an ancient wisdom that is within us. And this is a new beginning. So this whole situation is bringing a different kind of abundance. It is an abundance of emotional fulfillment. It is it's about growing and learning and adjusting to the difference. I mean, these two cards, they go so well together, and yet they're so completely different, because this is the Miser card in the traditional deck. This is the Miser card, and this is the Temperate card. And yet in this deck, the Miser card is showing a cupboard full of goods that the lady is not recognizing as being able to, how she's wondering how she's going to make it last till the end of the month. And here, this couple is enjoying an abundance. They are embracing what they have, and they are just thoroughly enjoying it. They're trusting in the universe to provide. And obviously, one can't just sit and dream and expect manna to fall from heaven. One has to make plans. But this is about an attitude. This is about an energy of, I can't remember which, in the Christian Bible, there's a verse, the lilies of the valley take care of themselves. And this is about embracing a trust that no matter how bleak and dire the situation was, if one focuses on the suffering and one lies awake at night worrying about what am I going to do for the future, how am I going to protect the future of my children, how am I going to make the ends meet till the end of the month, if one focuses on that aspect of it rather than on the rising again of the phoenix and the fact that whatever one has on the table will be enough, and there will always be enough. And perhaps what the cards are saying is, look at the situation from a different perspective. Try not to be judgmental or try not to seek justice. Try to understand that this is not a personal failure. This is perhaps something that has happened, and it is not so much the painful situation that you are lying at night worrying about and the repercussions from that disastrous Ten of Swords situation. It's about finding a new way to move beyond what has happened, to stop judging the past, to stop judging the situation, to stop feeling that this was a suffering sent to try you, rather try and look on it as a way of creating a new beginning to allow you to spread your wings and fly. And the final card in your reading, I'm going to just get a little bit of clarity on what this card means, because this is a card of rest. This is a card of bringing a sense of fun and joy into the situation, because the Four of Swords is a battle, is a picture of a knight. He's put his sword away. Three swords have annihilated him, much like the Ten of Swords through betrayal and ruin. But the knight is resting. And this young lady is taking a rest from her work. She is being playful. She's letting the fairies sleep around her, and she's having great fun. And when she returns to her work, when she returns to the problems that she faces, she will be rested and she will be rejuvenated and she will be filled with new ideas. So let me just, I just want to have a little bit of a quick shuffle of some cards, and we'll just have another look and see if we can draw one or two cards to get a little bit more clarity on the situation, to see how these worries, how you can calm these worries in your mind. Spirit guides for Earth Power, please give us two cards suggesting how to calm. Thank you very much. And another thing about amethyst, I've just remembered. Amethyst alleviates sadness. It alleviates grief, and it allows one to come to terms with loss. So it's very interesting that Earth Pile, you were drawn to the amethyst, and this contains this card, because when there's been such a terrible loss, when there's been such a terrible situation that has left you feeling so exhausted, and that you have to have a complete new rebirth, which is what the Phoenix is about. Before you can have the rebirth, you have to let go the sense of loss, the sense of grief, the sense of suffering. And amethyst, one of the energies that amethyst brings is it helps alleviate sadness, grief, and a sense of loss. Let's have a look what these two cards are. Oh my goodness me. Wow. These are gorgeous cards, and how interesting, because this card and this card are exactly the same, just in different decks. This is the Ace of Cups, and this is the Ace of Cups. And as I was saying earlier, the message here of what can help calm your mind, which can help you sleep at night, which can help you try and, if not put those worries aside, don't let them control you. Don't let them drive you into a state of absolute panic where you cling to everything that you've got. And the more you cling, the less you feel you have. So this, the first message from the extra cards, confirms very much that you must go with the flow. This situation will end up in success, because not only was the Aboriginal Dreaming card the card of success, and your oracle, the Priestess of Light, reminds you that there are always miracles. This is the card of mastery. This is at the end of the journey. One has suffered, one has learned, one has grown, one has had to let go the grief and the sorrow of the situation that is causing such nighttime shadows and darkness. And one arises from that situation a phoenix or a master of the situation. And that, of course, is the ultimate success, being able to master whatever situation occurs in life and being able to accept that miracles do occur, and ultimately you move your way from ruin to great success. And that, Earth Power, is your reading. It is sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings and so much love. Remember, please share the love by pressing the like button or subscribing to my channel. And I will look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Welcome to your reading, Air Power. You chose the beautiful Dumortierite as your stone. And you chose the oracle card, the Lost Compass, getting back to integrity. So because this reading is all about looking at your night shadows, looking at what keeps you awake at night, what worries wake you up in the middle of the night and get you into a cold sweat, I'm going to start the reading slightly differently. I've got the Aborigine shadow cards, and I've got the Aborigine dreaming cards. So this is the shadow, and this is the dream or the light. So we're going to start by asking the spirit guides or the collector. Oh goodness, all these cards are jumping. Very eager to get going. Let's just seed those back in. Right, spirit guides, one card, there we are. Very quick to jump out. So this is the shadow underlying the reading. Delay. Not everything has to happen now, and taking time to consider the outcome can be beneficial. However, delaying won't fix anything, as nothing will change. So let's put that there. So that's the shadow, that's the underlying message for this reading of what keeps you awake at night. What are those worries? We're now going to ask the spirit guides of the Air Power Collective for, very quick to answer. They're very, very keen and eager to get going with the reading. So this is the dreaming, the Aboriginal dreaming or the light card. And this is questions. What you are thinking is absolutely correct. It takes courage to trust yourself, especially when everything points in a different direction. And that's a very nice validation of this oracle card, Lost Compass. Because of course, when we lose our compass, we tend to lose our way. And if we've been asking other people for advice, if we've been asking questions of everybody else, Perhaps we need to get back to our own integrity. We need to start answering our own questions and have the courage to trust ourselves. And perhaps that's what's causing the worries, that you're getting too many conflicting answers and you're putting off whatever is bothering you, whatever the situation is that is keeping you awake at night. And it will be different for everybody, because remember, this is a general reading. The cards are already saying that putting off taking action and finding your own answers to the questions is not going to solve anything. You will remain lost. You need to get back to that point where you can trust yourself. Let's move this around. There's your stone. We'll move the amethyst out the way. There's your Dumortierite. And yeah, it's very interesting. I've just remembered Dumortierite is a stone that spiritually realigns you with your archetypal self, with your core authentic self. And that's essentially what the Aboriginal dreaming card and the opening oracle card said. Your true self must be your compass. Asking questions of everybody else just causes delays. Let's move this down so that you can see those two cards to remind you. And there is the first oracle card. Okay, now let's look at the other oracle cards, and then we'll look at your tarot cards, and we'll put them all together. And if we need to get clarity, we will draw some more cards for clarity. So the oracle of the ancient the wisdom of the hidden realms, of the ancient realms, the card is the warlord. Communication, praise, and dishonesty. Integrity and dishonesty. It's interesting that those two words have come up. And there's your little feather. We'll put that there. And this is the priestess of the light. Beautiful card, green for healing, green for growth, and that beautiful heart light shining, bright heart light, open connections. So let's see what the connections are that the priestess of the light is telling you about. So let's look at your tarot cards, your first, and remember, we're looking at what are your night shadows. What are those things that keep you awake in the middle of the night, those worries that go round and round in your head when you wake up in the middle of the night. So your first card is the Four of Wands. That's a card of fully participating in life, of fully embracing everything that life has to offer. It's a card of celebration. It's a card of abundance and joy and family, and just it's a wonderful card of joy and celebration. Your next card is the Knight of Pentacles. This is a slow and steady knight. He works with the rhythms of the earth. He doesn't delay. He can get stuck, which then does cause delay, but it's more about just going with the natural rhythm, the natural cycles of the earth, rather than burying a seed and forgetting about it. Let's look at all your cards before I start putting them together. Your next card is the Eight of Pentacles. It's a card of hard work. Next one, a Major Arcana card, the High Priestess, a card of secrets, a card of getting in touch with your inner voice. And your next card is the Fool. Interesting that the Fool comes after the High Priestess, because the Fool is a very youthful energy. The Fool is an enthusiastic energy. Anyway, let's look at the last card, and then we will put all the cards together, and we will see if we can throw some light on the night shadows that keep you up worrying. And the final card in your reading is the Eight of Cups. That's a card of letting go and starting anew. right, Air Pal, let's have a look at your cards. So there's something in this situation. This is actually, it's quite a surprisingly nice reading, considering that the topic we're reading on is your nighttime shadows, what keeps you awake at night. And the only thing that's coming to me is these two cards seem to provide the key. That 35-8 in numerology is a card of abundance. It's a number of abundance. It's things come material. It's a great card of, it's a number of material success. And yet there, the material success is reflected in that Four of Wands, in that celebration, in this understanding of the slow rhythms. But there's some, and the hard work is there to put in. I mean, look, 2 8s, and that's 35-8, and the 8s are, you know, material success, prosperity, hard work. I'm almost wondering, there's some secret here, and it's lying underneath the Four of Wands, and it's lying right next to the lost compass and the word Lord, dishonesty and getting back to integrity. Now, this may not apply to all of you. It may not apply to any of you. I'm just saying what is coming to me. There's a feeling here, there's almost a suggestion that this success, perhaps on some level, there was an element of losing your way to get that success. I don't want to say a lack of integrity, as in like something criminal. I'm not suggesting that at all. Perhaps it was more along the lines of selling your soul, that there's something here that's bothering you, that you are thinking that perhaps something needs to change. And you can't delay, because the longer you delay, the bigger the problem is going to get. And I'm wondering, the Fool is all about taking a leap of trust. It's about leaping off the cliff and starting a new adventure. And it's followed immediately by the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Chalices, which is all about turning your back on a situation that no longer works, that no longer provides emotional fulfillment. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's anything to do with giving up this wonderful abundance, this reaping of the slow harvest, of the slow and steady progress that you've made to harvest, to enjoy the harvest that you've created through your hard work. But there is some secret that you feel has taken you away from your true self. There is something that you are holding. It's either a secret, it may be something that was done or something that was not done, or something that you hid. Perhaps you hid a part of yourself to achieve this hard work and the steady progress to give you the success that you're enjoying. But on the way to the success, there was a sense of losing a part of yourself, that you lost the compass to your true self. And remember, this Dumortierite, Air Pal, is all about it can help you break ties to that which no longer serves you, but most importantly, it assists in spiritually realigning you with your archetypal self, with your true self. And that perhaps is the secret that is being held here, that you had to, I won't say be dishonest, but perhaps not reveal everything that there was in the situation to achieve this goal, to get through that hard work, to make that steady progress, to have this abundance to celebrate in. And the suggestion here is that you need to let that go. You need to praise yourself for the success that you've done. If there is a need, if there is a spiritual calling to right a wrong, or perhaps just to reveal the secret. The cards are suggesting that you take that leap of faith. Don't ask others, trust yourself. Have the courage to trust what your authentic self. Find your own inner compass. Be your own inner compass. Praise yourself. Communicate openly and honestly, not only with yourself, but with other people. Bring in the new path. Let go that which is no longer working for you. Get in touch with that inner voice. Answer your own questions, but don't delay actioning what the answers, what your inner voice is answering, how your inner voice is answering those questions. Because the final card is promising you open connections. Because once you return to your integrity, once the Dumortierite helps guide you, point you, and look here, this is a point. Once the Dumortierite points you to your true self, to that inner voice, which is your own guide, your own wisdom, your own guru, you will be able to live a far more authentic life and be go on a new path full of enthusiasm, letting go the burdens of the past, letting go the secrets of the past, letting go that which made you feel a bit lost. It might have rewarded you with this Four of Wands, this participating in a rich and wonderfully fulfilling life, but at the same time you lost part of yourself, and now you need to step out, let that go, and start a new path. Let's ask the guides, let's draw a couple more cards. We're going to use the Osho Zen pack, and let's see what, if we can maybe, these worries that are keeping you up at night, these questions that you're asking yourself, these shadows that are darkening your mind in the middle of the night. Let's see. And remember, it will all be different for each of you, because this is a general collective reading. And I'm going to ask the spirit guides of the collective for my air pile 2 cards, please, to give us, oh goodness, cards are very slippery today. Please give me 2 cards to give us some clarity. And there is a card that's popping out, and there's another one that's popping out. Thank you very much. The Empress. No, I'm sorry, that's not the Empress. That is the Queen of Pentacles. And it is all about abundance. It ties in very nicely with the Four of Wands. This is actually the Queen of Wands, a highly creative. It's an energy. It doesn't matter whether you're a male or female listening to this reading. The Queen of Wands is a highly creative energy. It's a highly abundant energy. She creates the world and the abundance that she wants. And this, I think, is a validation that you did create the world you want. You did create the abundance that you wanted. But the question is it still serving your highest good? And let's see what this card is all about. Participation. How interesting. This is the participation card. This is the Four of Pentacles. Sorry, the Four of Wands. I don't know, I've got Pentacles on my mind. I'm looking at these two, this Pentacle here, this Eight of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. And yet this is the Wands card. I'm sorry. This is the Four of Wands and the Four of Wands. And this is all about accepting that you are worthy. You know, perhaps on some level you're feeling that you weren't worthy and you felt that you lost your true self. But perhaps this is your true self, that you are worthy of all this abundance. I think because I made such a hash, I kept on calling those 2 Pentacles and heaven knows what else. I'm just going to draw one more card and see what comes up and see if that goes, because this is just validating what was already in the reading. This is the Queen of Wands, which is a very creative energy. She creates what she wants. And the Four of Wands, which is all about that beautiful participating fully in life and enjoying everything that life has to offer. And let's just get one more card, or maybe two more cards. Spirit guides, please give us one more card for the air power. Oh, you got two more cards. There you are. So there's two more cards. Let's see. The Chariot. No, the Knight of Swords. Yeah, okay. And we are the world. That is the Ten of Pentacles. 10 of Rainbows. This is quite a different energy. This is more in keeping here. Perhaps you're trying to control things too much. And that is where the participation, this is about participation. And it's about opening your heart completely and participating fully embracing new connections, new growth, the new light, allowing yourself as you are, your authentic true self, to shine through, to embrace and fully enjoy this abundance that you have, and not trying to control it in any way. This is a card that can be quite sharp, and it can almost, this is the communication, the word lord, the needing to get back to integrity, the feeling lost. And I don't feel that this is the energy of the future. This is an energy of the past. Because again, here we have this Ten of Pentacles, which is all about, it's very similar, the Ten of Pentacles is very similar to the Four of Wands. It's a card of abundance, it's a card of connections, it's a card of fully embracing, being totally open to new connections and to being part of a world that is full of dance and light and enjoyment, and participating in that world. So, air power. The air power, of course, is of the mind. So perhaps here the biggest problem is that when you wake up in the middle of the night, you almost worry yourself over nothing. You're asking questions that don't need to be asked. You just need to sometimes let things go. Because part of participating in life, part of opening yourself up to life, is understanding that there aren't always answers to everything. We can't always, we can't delay doing things, and we can't constantly ask questions. Sometimes there are no answers to those questions. Sometimes we just need to trust and to be our own compass and not try to control things. Sometimes we need to just open ourselves up, let things happen as they want to, trust in that inner voice, and take a leap off the cliff. And once something is finished, it's finished. We need to let go and start new connections, take our place in the world, participate fully in the joy and abundance and the sharing that the Queen of Wands has created with her magic, because the Queen of Wands is a very creative energy. And of course, the Four of Wands is all about celebrating what the Queen has created. And opening your heart, instead of lying awake at night, asking yourself questions that perhaps don't have answers. Air power, just remember, open your heart, trust your inner voice, and fully embrace and participate in the abundance that you have worked hard for and that has made steady progress and built up into this successful place in which you now find yourself. And that, Epal, is your reading. I send it from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings and so much love. And if the reading resonated with you and you would like to share the love, please press the subscribe button and press the little like button. And I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Welcome to your reading, Fire Power. You chose the beautiful peach selenite heart, and your oracle card was the cosmic womb, the cosmic womb, the divine feminine. And because the reading today is about looking at your night shadows, about looking at those worries that keep you awake in the middle of the night, I'm going to open the reading with the Aboriginal shadow pile and the Aboriginal dreaming pile. So this is the shadow and this is the light. So let's get right in and ask the spirit guides of the fire pile, the collective of the fire pile, please give me a card. And there it is. Speechless. When you cannot find your own words to express how you feel, find an alternative way to communicate. What you have to say is important for others to hear. So, seeing as that is the shadow card, that is about speaking your truth, being unafraid to speak your truth. And let's have a look at the dreaming card, the light card, spirit guides of the collective fire pile. Please give me a card. There you are. Thank you very much. Responsibility. Become discerning about the people you choose to help. There are too many people in your life who don't take responsibility for themselves and instead rely on you to sort it out for them. All right, so those are the two messages from the shadow and from the light. Let us have a look now. Let's move the candle over there, and we'll move your beautiful peach selenite over there where you can see it. We'll move the tektites out the way. There's your peach selenite. Right, so we'll look at your oracle cards and we'll look at your tarot cards, and then we will put them all together. So there's your shadow, there's your light, speechless and responsibility. The cosmic womb, the divine feminine. That suggests that you may be undergoing a new birth. Let's get all the cards out before I start talking. Your oracle of the ancient realms is the Metal King. Discipline, armor, and boundaries. That's about setting healthy boundaries. And very disciplined person, but also very empathetic. So perhaps you may need armor to protect yourself. And the priestess of the light says, touching earth, you are now planting something new. That is the angel of the rainbow that has come to help you plant the new that you are beginning. That's interesting. That is birthing a new beginning. And here is the confirmation that what you are beginning, what you are planting, the new seeds that you are planting, have a divine blessing and will grow and develop into an abundance. That's beautiful. That's a lovely way to start a reading, particularly a reading which is about your night shadows and about what worries are keeping you up at night. But let's see what the tarot cards have to say. The first card is the Six of Swords. It's about leaving something behind. It's about going on a journey. But this is probably a spiritual journey. Okay. 7 of Wands. Some kind of struggle is going on there. It's not anything you can deal with. It's not a conflict that is mortal. The salamander. It's interesting that she's got salamanders around her feet and her legs. Okay, we'll get into that a bit later. The Emperor, and what an interesting Emperor card that is, because this is about breaking stereotypes. And you see, it's a woman. The Emperor is actually a masculine energy, because the Emperor is normally a male, but this is depicted as a female standing with her back to the kitchen, and here she's busy running a successful business. So this is all about breaking stereotypes, about moving into a position of authority in something that is more suited to your authentic self. Your next card, interesting, the Devil. Okay, that might explain that 7 of Wands card. There's a struggle going on here, and it's an internal struggle. This is normally our conditioning. It's our patterns of behavior that we're trying to defeat. It is often a card of addiction. As you can see, this is a card filled with all the good things in life. That ice cream sundae is quite delicious looking. And that is exactly what the devil does. It puts temptations in our ways so that we cannot. That's the conflict. Perhaps that's where we need the boundaries. And the next card is the 2 of Cups. That's a nice card, especially following the devil. This tells me, fire pile, you are going to be successful. There you're birthing something new. You've had the validation that whatever you're planting, whatever you're birthing, is going to have a successful outcome. And let's see your final card. Wonderful. Card of abundance, the King of Pentacles, who reaches the height of success. But it's a solid success. It's not, there's very little risk of this being unstable. It's a very stable success. The King of Pentacles has worked hard, he's worked steady, he has mastered the material world, and he is reaping the rewards for that. So let's have a look here. So I think, to me, what may be your biggest worry, those shadows that wake you up in the night and have you sweating with anxiety, is there is some kind of internal struggle going on here. You are trying to leave, you are going on a journey. You're leaving behind, you can see there's a lot of darkness here, but she's leaving that behind. She's leaving that turbulence behind. She's following her dream. She's following a spirit, and she's moving into the light. She's been guided away from this broken, not working, heavy load, and she's been guided into the light. And it's very interesting that that is above the devil card, the addiction card. So for some of you, remember, this is a collective reading. It's a general reading, so this may not be applicable to all of you, but it suggests seriously that there is some kind of addiction, or it's not so much, it can be a physical addiction, but it can also be an addiction to a behavior pattern or to some belief system that is not working for our highest good and that we need to let go, but it is a struggle to let go, because this 6 of Swords journey, and this is about going on a journey, and in this case I think it is an inner journey to move away from what was no longer working for us, whatever these patterns of behavior are, whatever these addictions are, whatever these compulsions are. We are birthing something new. We are reassured that whatever the effort we're putting in, the struggle, the conflict, The Seven of Wands is a card of conflict. It's about trying to keep the moral high ground. And as you can see, this lady is very, she looks very successful, and she looks like she's got everything in control. She looks very, very professional in her suit, but she has these salamanders scurrying around her feet. And it's important to remember that in Christian terms, the salamander is about an enduring faith. It is about a righteous soul that doesn't succumb to temptation. It has another meaning in heraldry. I think the meaning is courage, bravery. And the Seven of Wands, I think, reflects that. It truly reflects that. Because this struggle, this conflict, to leave behind, to move away, to go on a journey, to outgrow these patterns, to outgrow these compulsions, to outgrow the possible addictions, it is going to be a serious struggle that is going to require courage, it's going to require bravery, it is going to require faith that what you are birthing is going to grow and flourish and create a completely new life. It's perhaps something, and this perhaps is what is keeping you speechless. Perhaps you feel you can't talk about these things that are creating such pressure for you, this pattern of behavior. I mean, to do this responsibility card, which says that you're taking on too much responsibility, perhaps you need to start worrying more about yourself, and you will then have more energy for this journey from the shadow into the light. And I mean, the birthing process requires an incredible amount of energy, whether it is a mother giving physical birth, or whether it is rebirthing the soul into a new way of being. It requires an immense amount of energy, and one won't have time to try and help other people. I mean, obviously I'm saying be kind and compassionate, but you need to keep your own cup full. You need to conquer your own demons first. You need to fight your own battle and get yourself onto the higher ground before you can look outward and start helping others. And this here is where the Metal King comes in, I think, because this Metal King is saying that this journey that you're on is going to require a lot of discipline, because habits, patterns of behavior, addictions, whatever it is, the devil that you are fighting in, and this I believe is an inner devil. I don't think it is like somebody else creating the problem. I think this is something this is an internal journey that you're on. It's not an external journey that you're on. And you may perhaps need to put armor around yourself. These people that suck your energy, these people that expect you to be responsible for them, obviously within reason. If it's your children, you brought them into the world, you are totally and 100% responsible for them. I'm talking about being sensible and discerning. This does say that you need to be discerning. And obviously if your child needs help, that is a different matter to some stranger who comes to you to resolve their problem for them. The Metal King is also telling us about boundaries. And the thing with when you are planting something new, when you are trying to go on a new journey, when you are moving away from things in the past that are no longer working for you, that are no longer for your highest good, you do need to put up firm boundaries, especially when people come and ask for help that is not yours to give. And perhaps you need to learn what's keeping you awake at night is the fact that you feel unable to say no. Perhaps it is a family member, like a parent or a sibling or a cousin, or a husband or a wife, and you feel unable to express the fact that you need to be responsible for your own journey, as do they. And that is a question of learning how to set part of this inner journey of yours, part of this struggle, this conflict, part of leaving behind the stereotype and stepping into your own power as an authority figure, because that's what the Emperor is. The Emperor is an authority figure. But this is about moving away from a stereotype. And often our patterns of behavior are basically stereotypes that have just come down from generation to generation, from society to society. And this is all about breaking this whole, so far this reading is all about breaking those stereotypes, breaking those patterns, and moving into the new way of being. But to do that, you'll need to have firm boundaries. You'll need to have armor against those people who say, what are you doing playing on your laptop? You need to get back to the stove. And obviously that's just based on the card. This could be to do with a male or a female energy. But the brilliant thing about this reading, and perhaps this will help calm you in the middle of the night, is that this devil card, this card of compulsions and patterns of behavior that are no longer serving our highest good, is followed by the Two of Cups, which is a card of unification. It is a card of coming together, of bringing together dual or fractured parts of ourselves. So that is about reconciling the two different aspects to the figure in this Emperor card. It is about reaching that point of growth, reaching that point where you can speak out, but at the same time not be responsible for that which is not your responsibility. And having the courage and the armor and the discipline to be in a place of where you know yourself so well, and you know what is good for your highest, you know what is for your highest good. And it is only when you operate from your highest good that you can give the best of yourself to other people. And moving through that journey, following that guidance, knowing that the promised outcome to this new way of life, this new energy that you are birthing, it is being grounded. And the planting of this it has a divine blessing in a way. And that is reflected in this final card of your reading, which is the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles is the master of the material world. He's stable, he's solid, he is able to share his abundance without depleting himself. There is perhaps the risk that he can become too rigid, and that would then create a new pattern which needs to be left behind. But on the whole, the King of Pentacles is all about enjoying an abundance that one has worked hard for and has created. And this is perhaps an abundance of Pentacles is of course about material success, but it is more about finding this balance between spirit and body, mind, body, and spirit. It's about being comfortable with who you are, even though you are not perhaps fully who you once were. Let's just get two more cards and see if we can get a little more information for you. See if we have another message or two. Spirit guides, please give us two cards for the Fire Pile. And the Fire Pile, of course, is a card of action. It likes to create new directions. It's represented by wands. There's a card. And let's have a look. One more card, please, Spirit guides. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm not going to take those three because they came out in a lump. But we will take that one that jumped all the way over there. Full of energy, full of excitement. Wow, how wonderful. Look at that. Super. Super cards to end your reading on. There is a breakthrough coming. This validates there. You've got the devil. You've got the card of compulsion, of patterns of behavior that are destructive, that chains that are very difficult to break. You've got the Emperor over there, breaking the stereotypes, rebelling against stereotypes, and stepping into your own individual authority, and finding a union within yourself between the yin and the yang, the male and the female. And here we have a card that says, hold on, keep going, don't give up, Success is assured because you are going to have a breakthrough. These night worries that are keeping you up, these anxieties that you are having to use so much courage to defeat, you are going to have a breakthrough. And that breakthrough will lighten your load. It will have you leaping with courage and enjoyment and enthusiasm and excitement, leaping onto a new road, a new way of being that will offer you a great new adventure. And what a wonderful way to end your reading, Firepower. And that, Firepower, is your reading. I send it from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings and so much love. And if you feel that the reading resonated with you, please share the love by pressing that thumbs up button and also subscribing to my channel so that you can join us in the next reading. Welcome to your reading, Waterpower. You chose the beautiful Atlantis stone, or as it's otherwise known, orbicular ocean jasper. And your oracle card that drew you in was the root girl, the disowned self. So, because this reading today is going to concentrate on what your night shadows are, we're going to look at the worries and those fears and anxieties that keep you awake in the middle of the night. I'm going to start the reading in a slightly different way. I just want to move the water out the way, and we will put your Atlantis stone over there so you can see it nicely. And we are going to look at the Aboriginal shadow cards, and we're going to look at the Aboriginal dreaming cards, and we're hopefully going to get two messages, one from the shadows, one from the light, from the dreaming, that underpin this entire reading. So let's jump right in, and we'll ask the spirit guides of the Waterpower to please give us one card for the shadow. There you are. Interesting. Anger. Use your anger in a creative and positive way that allows you to maintain your dignity whilst producing a far more satisfying outcome. So that's hidden in the shadows. It's interesting because this card is the disowned self. There could be a lot of anger around having to disown a part of yourself, to have to keep part of yourself hidden in the roots of your life. All right, let's see what the message from the spirit guides for the dreaming card. The light card is spirit guides for the collective of the Waterpower. One card for the light, please. Let us see that. Oops, no, didn't want to come out. Let us see if there you are. That one wants to come out. Confidence. Beautiful. How wonderful to move from the shadow of anger into the light of confidence. Believe in magic. You don't need an explanation for everything. Trust that it has happened for all the right reasons. Interesting. Well, that's a good start to your reading. Let's have a look at your cards. Your first one, of course, as I said, is the root girl, all about the disowned self. That suggests that there's something about yourself that you are keeping hidden, that actually the Atlantis stone, part of the energy of the Atlantis stone is it brings to the surface long hidden and unresolved emotional issues. So perhaps, Waterpower, whatever it is that you've been suppressing and being angry at having to suppress it, you are now ready to bring it to the surface and to deal with it. And once you've worked through it, you will discover in yourself a newfound confidence. Let's see the wisdom of the hidden realms. The phoenix, yes. This is about being reborn. Interesting. This is a Waterpower. and yet there's fire, anger, there's heat, hot. The root girl, look at the colors. It's all the reds and the oranges. So the anger is even coming through in the color of the cards. Anyway, the Phoenix is a wonderful card to get in this situation. It's all about resurrection. It's about surrendering to change. It's about being reborn in a completely new magnificence. And the Priestess of the Light says, look at that. You see how we move from the red hot anger of the root girl, the disowned self, the Phoenix having to go through the fires to be reborn and resurrected, the anger, and then all of a sudden your final oracle card is this calm and beautiful Egyptian seer, this Egyptian high priestess with the calm blue and the beautiful gold, precognition, future vision, psychic ability. Maybe that's something. Maybe in a past life you were extremely psychic and something traumatic happened and you had to hide that gift, and in every future life you haven't been able to develop that part of yourself. Let's see what the other cards say. So your tarot card is, look at that, hey? 5 of Pentacles, the outsider, the disowned self. So immediately we have confirmation that the oracle card, that this is about a part of yourself that has been hidden, a part of yourself that you have had to disown for whatever reason. Let's see the rest of the cards. Swords, 2 of Swords. Yep, that's about trying to find balance. That's trying to find balance between head and heart, trying to resolve seemingly irresolvable opposites. And your third card, 5 of Swords. Not all victories seem like victories. You can see in this card how the winner is gloating over the other 2. Anyway, let's see what the rest of the cards say. Perhaps that's a manifestation. Perhaps the anger at having to be suppressed makes you overtly competitive. You know, the anger may be expressed in a positive way through competition, but sometimes when you win, you lose. If you win for the sake of winning rather than for the joy of being, for the joy of doing. Anyway, I don't want to jump ahead. Let's see what the other cards have to say. More fire. 2 of Wands. That's about creating something new. That's about creating a new vision. And here you are, you see, creating a new vision. Perhaps this anger, perhaps, you know what I'm getting? I think you're tired, Water Pile. I think you're absolutely exhausted of carrying this anger around with you. I think you are really ready to let it go. You're tired of being the outsider. You're tired of trying to belong through this extreme competitive, but having to win all the time, and yet feeling out of balance all the time, feeling that there's a part of you that you've had to suppress, and if only people could see that part of you, you wouldn't be the outsider. You wouldn't be on your own. You wouldn't have this conflict between head and heart. It wouldn't be so much as winning over, it'd be winning with. And here you are starting. Remember that Atlantis stone brings to the surface long hidden and unresolved emotional issues. So you're finally ready to create a new vision for yourself. And I've just seen something. Look here. 5, 2, 5, 2. Now the 5s, they are all about new directions. They are all about versatility, being flexible, being open to change, being willing to change, but mostly about looking for a new direction. And the 2s are all about duality. It's all about seeking union. It's all about trying to unify differing aspects in yourself. So I definitely think that you are ready, Water Pile, and obviously this won't apply to all of you because this is a collective reading, but you are ready to let go that anger, to dig down into the roots of your soul and find that part of you that perhaps not even in this lifetime, perhaps from previous lifetimes, from something traumatic that happened, you are ready to dig deep and to resurrect and bring out in all its glory that magical part of yourself, that magical side of yourself that is psychic, that has future vision. And this Atlantis stone, you know, most of you, I'm sure, you must know the myth of the Atlantis being buried under the sea. And the Atlantis stone, another thing that the Atlantis stone helps with is it helps reclaim lost mystical wisdom. That's it. That's it, water power. This disowned part of yourself has something to do with mystical gifts, with psychic gifts. And perhaps it's not an overt anger. This may be remember, this is in your shadows. So you may not even realize that that part of yourself, which makes you feel an outsider because you're not able to, be the same as everybody else. You see things differently, and you've had to suppress that part. You've had to struggle to keep things in balance. You've perhaps overcompensated, trying to gain confidence through winning. And yet now you are tired, you are ready to unify those different parts of yourself, to surrender to the change, and to let the phoenix of your mystical vision rise up. Let's see what the rest of the cards are. Yes, 3 of Wands. This is a card of having done the work. It's a time of, in the traditional pack, this is a man who is sent. He's standing on a cliff shore watching his ships. He sent his ships out with their cargo, and he's now waiting for the ships to come back to reap the harvest of his hard work. And this card is suggesting that perhaps not now, perhaps you still need to dig a little bit deep. You still need to, you see in this card, this is a card of feeling like an outsider, feeling all alone. She's frozen in this frozen waste of this desolate forest. She can't hear, and she's looking back. She's feeling all alone. But if she takes off her things and looks up, she will see that she does have companions. But interestingly enough, these are mystical companions. So this is an exciting reading, water power. It's like digging for gold, digging for the treasure of what was once a disowned self that you are now ready to go and reclaim and to find a new confidence in and to become calm and peaceful and loving. And let's see what your last card is. The Hierophant. That's the card of the teacher. That is the card of making arcane, ancient wisdom accessible for all. It is about, it can be about dogma, or it can be about breaking down dogma and finding, following the inner teacher. Perhaps this disowned self was because of something in the environment that didn't encourage this aspect of yourself. And now the inner teacher is calling out to you. It is calling to you to recognize your psychic abilities and to create a new vision, to unify those parts of yourself that the disowned part and the part that you have lived with in this lifetime. It's the call of the phoenix to rise again in all your magnificence, and to develop the confidence that you need. You don't need the confidence that comes from winning over others. Far better to win over others through your words, through your visions, through your teachings. This is having a winner and a loser. And it's so interesting that the Hierophant, the inner guide, the inner guru, the teacher, is directly under this winning over, the competitive type of winning, rather than the, what's the word I'm looking for? The drawing in, the winning over through love and compassion. Very interesting. Very interesting and exciting reading, Waterfowl. This is about discovering a part of yourself that can be very powerful. And the Hierophant, of course, the shadow of the Hierophant is about the misuse of the secret knowledge, the secret teachings. But the Hierophant in its highest potential is about a wise use of power and knowledge. And having, I think what's keeping you awake at night is this bubbling up of this disowned self. This root girl is bubbling up into your conscious mind. This anger that you've perhaps carried unconsciously, that you need to transmute from destructive anger into positive creativity. Because look at the fire. There's so much fire here. And that is all about, fire can be both destructive but also purifying. So anger can help purify if you're aware of the Christian teachings, particularly the New Testament, when Jesus went into the temples and saw the merchants selling in the temple, and he got angry and he threw the merchants out. That was a purifying anger. It was a holy anger. It's a wise use of arcane knowledge. It's a wise use of power. But the night shadows that are keeping you awake, Waterfowl, are perhaps this bubbling, this part of yourself that is crying out to be resolved, to be unified, to be recreated into something positive and good that brings a win-win situation for everybody, rather than the win-lose situation, which can antagonize people and, of course, just reinforce the sense of being an outsider, the sense of having parts of yourself that you have to hide or disown for acceptance. Let's just see if we can get some more. Let's just draw 2 more cards and see what they tell us. See if it adds a little bit more clarity for you. This card here, this future vision card, I'd like to know a little bit more about. So let's ask the spirit guides of the collective for the Waterfowl. 2 cards, please. That one insists on coming out, and that one too. Thank you very much. So let's have a look what these cards are. Change. The Wheel of Fortune and Ordinariness. The 8 of Rainbows, or the 8 of Pentacles. That's very interesting. This card, of course, validates that you are in a process of change. Something is bubbling up. Something is starting to move. Something ancient and wise and old and full of mystical knowledge. I don't know if you can see there, if it's clear enough. You can see it's got the zodiac signs and then the yin and the yang sign in the middle there. So this is definitely the change, the call of the phoenix to change your life, to bring up, to recognize that ancient wisdom that has been disowned, that has been buried in the roots of your soul, that makes you feel like an outsider. The change is coming. The change is there. It is on its way. And this is a card that reminds us, there's an old saying, I can't remember who said it, may have been Confucius or Buddha, can't remember. Before enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. After enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. And this is a card that reminds you that this phoenix-like change may on the inside feel enormous, and it will be enormous because it will be a complete revisioning, a complete recreation of this part of the deepest parts of yourself, and it will bring you a confidence that you never dreamed that you'd have before. But life goes on. It's not suddenly going to resolve every single difficulty that anybody ever has, because enlightenment is not so much about the external world changing. It's about the internal world changing and how we look out to the external world. It is the difference between the winning of the Five of Swords, which is a gloating type of winning and making sure that the others know they're defeated, versus the winning people over through the wisdom and the knowledge and the sharing and the teaching that one expresses from inside out. So, Waterpile, that is your reading. It is sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings and so much love. And if you've enjoyed the reading, please share that love by pressing the thumbs up button and by subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss the next reading that is uploaded. And I look forward to having you join us in the future readings.